Hey guys. Yeah, I know. It's been a while now. And I really got a good reason for it too. It's a um well, I it's going to be very very hard for me to, talk about it. It's a very very traumatic experience I've had well, with when I'm sorry. I okay, stay strong. I gotta stay strong. It's just a traumatic experience with a person, a content creator, if you would, someone that I looked up to, someone who I admired at least at one point in my life. But I think it's time. It's time for the truth to come out. Please excuse me. There are times that I just can't talk because it truly was a difficult experience. So, what I have to talk about? Well, it's my experience in the salt mine that was owned by Jay Schlatt. Well then, I guess we gotta, move on, right? It's time to give my side of the story for once. This is just a fraction of what he's capable of. Those crimes in 1999, it's far more worse. But this is just a portion of what he's capable of. Well then, let's continue, shall we? Jay Schlatt's small, Jay Schlatt's salt mine. My experience. Now, you guys might ask who is. I'm sorry, just give me a moment. I'm just trying to stay strong, that's all. Who. Who is Jay Schlatt? He is still. Who is Jay Schlatt? Jay Schlatt is a very known content creator in YouTube and fairly known in Twitch, yeah. But one thing you didn't know about him is that he purchased a salt mine as a joke. But he later saw just how much of a profit it started to churn out. And obviously, what's a salt mine without workers? Am I right? So, like I said, he bought a salt mine as a joke. He wanted to be silly, that's all. But then the money, he saw the money just rolling in, and he wanted to take it more seriously. And I gotta admit, okay, the salt was just pure, the purest form of salt you can ever think of. I give him credit. The place that he decided to buy the salt mine at wasn't a bad choice. He, at least, what little food we had, the salt that we managed to mine gave it a little bit of that extra flavor. And yeah, he obviously needed some way to transport it across, the United States. And he managed to acquire a fleet of high-end trucks that some of us were forced to drive, and that if we ever talked about the 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 work we had to do in the mines while we were doing deliveries, we were, well, let's just say it wasn't perfect. Some of us didn't really see each other again after some certain truths coming out. So being So, being kidnapped and being forced to work in a salt mine. My abduction. So, for the reason I was gone, I took some time to, think about what I can do, what kind of videos I can make in the future. You guys saw that I made some Minecraft videos and such. I was just trying to think of ways to just cut those video hours shorter and refine my editing process too. So while I was taking this small vacation, Stachla himself appeared in front of me. And he said, "Hey buddy, I saw some of your vids. You make a fine worker." And I was like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Slat, sir. So what kind of work were you thinking of, using me for?" And then he, with a snap of his fingers, 5 men appeared out of nowhere. And he said, "Oh, I need someone who can do a little bit of digging work for me." And he said, "Get him, boys." And then his goonies, his goons, put a sack over my head and knocked me unconscious, beat me until I couldn't think anymore. So when they finally took the bag out of my head, he just left me in the mine with just a pickaxe he threw at the ground. He looked at me and he said, "Start mining." And I saw the others just mining away. It was almost pitch black, with the only source of light just being those small light bulbs. The buzzing. It was unbearable. And the problem was that the others wasn't even that inviting. They saw another poor soul being dragged along into his business, and they didn't care. Some of them came up to me and beat me for no reason, just because I was new. They wanted to know that I was gonna be broken here, that I wasn't gonna be the same man ever again. I've never felt so isolated in my life. The conditions in the mine was so bad. We spent countless hours breaking these crystals out of salt, having to lift these massive pieces of salt, weighing so much, having to move everything by hand. There wasn't any minecart at all. When I asked one of the chieftains, or whatever Schlatt decided to call them, I asked him, "Where's the carts? Shouldn't there be any minecarts?" And then he said, "Minecarts are only for those who truly deserve it, and none of you aren't worth it." It was so hard to breathe in there too. They gave us masks to put on so that we could breathe better, but most of them had their filters broken, or just didn't have any filters at all. You can't imagine just how unbearable it is to put on a type of gas mask, if you would, having to breathe in and out, having all that vision, having your vision to be fogged up with your rancid breath that they won't even provide any type of dental care. Even to this day, I can still cough up some dust. Once in a while, I start having a coughing fit, and I can see a piece of stone come out of my lung. Just being stuck in there, day after day, week after week, hour after hour, doing the same thing over and over and over again. I felt like I was gonna lose my mind, lose myself, eventually become part of them, those who are already broken, seeing their only purpose of living is to serve their master, Jay Schlatt. There were times that I was thinking of just quitting. Let faith decide my fate. But I didn't give up. I stayed strong. There were several attempts of escaping. First time I tried to escape was during the night. I thought, well, seeing how poor this mine was, I didn't think that Schlatt would prioritize security above anything else. After all, logic kind of dictated me that if he can't afford good mining equipment, probably he can't afford good security, but I was wrong. So wrong. One of the guards caught me, and he punished me severely. Let's just say, breathing with some broken ribs doesn't hurt as much anymore as it did the first time. Second time I tried to escape, I managed to convince some of the others to, try to overpower some of the guards. Probably with a spark of revolution, we could maybe turn the tide against them. But they were well armed than we were, so they gave us a beating, a severe beating. Let's just say one of my friends, God rest his soul, let's just say he doesn't have legs anymore. They were just mangled up like empty toothpaste tubes, all crushed up. And then when they took him to the back, I heard screaming, and then silence. Nothing but silence after that. I only have one choice left. If I was caught trying to escape again, well, let's just say I'll join my friend in the afterlife with a rusty spoon that they provided us when it was time to eat. Eating this gray slop that you couldn't even call any type of food. I don't even think it was any type of food. If you knew what I had to eat. Oh God. Let's just say even eating moldy bread was better than what they gave us. But nonetheless, I hid the spoon inside my uniform. And when they weren't looking, I was digging my way out. I made sure to hide the tunnel with a giant rock so that they wouldn't have any suspicions. I was lucky that they would isolate me in my work. They wouldn't try to put me in a group of others after my last attempt. They said that you'll be better off working by myself, suffering in isolation. But they were wrong. They were so wrong. And after several months of that hard work, using the spoon in my bare hands to dig out, I made it out. So weak, starving to death, but I made it out. After walking for several miles, I managed to flag down a truck, and they took me to a nearby city where I was able to nourish myself back to health. Finally, to get some real food, even if it was just watered down soup, tomato soup with just a slice of bread. I never cried so hard in my life until that day came. I was free, but I knew deep down, even if I reported everything to the authorities, Schlatt is more powerful than that. No law can touch him. Reporting to the police is like reporting to Schlatt himself. He knew everything. I'm certain he even knew about my escape, but I guess he just didn't care. That's how little I mattered to him. I was nothing to him. Like a piece of crumb on a table, blown away by the wind. No one can tell the difference. After escaping, I had to be taken to a hospital. My malnutrition, the exhaustion, the injuries I've been given by both the mine itself and the guards. It took me even more months to recover fully. Scars on the body can heal, that's true. But the scars on the mind, those scars in my head, I don't think that'll ever go away. To this day, I still go to therapy, having to relive those days in that darkness. Every night when I go to sleep, once in a while, I have nightmares of that place. And then I see his face. His damn face. If he will forever haunt me in my life for my rest of my life. He will never, ever go away. I see him on YouTube, I see him on Twitch, I see him on Twitter, everywhere I go. It's him. But I did learn to appreciate a few things in my life. After escaping, I really appreciated a sense of freedom that I haven't had before. Knowing that I'm just a speck of dust on his mind, I highly doubt he'll come after me again. Every day when the sun shines on my face, I can remember that I made it. I made it. He will never take my freedom again. I will fight to the very end to secure my freedom. If he comes back after me, I will give him hell to pay. It also taught me how things were so much better in my life before the abduction. Before being sent down there, I've always felt a sense of sadness, a sense of isolation. I thought that was it. Things couldn't get any worse. But now I see that during that time, when I was back at home doing my own stuff, well, I see it now. I see how good things were. If I thought I was depressed before, oh man, ain't no way to describe this feeling now. It's beyond what anyone can describe depression. Nearly broken, but never was. I never was broken. Never. And it also taught me just how valuable people were around me. Lucky to have people around me, my friends, my family, people who did care about me, people who I could trust on. The others down there, you can't even call them human beings anymore. They're empty shells of their former selves. Others more savage than any human being can be. And the rest, well, mindless drones chipping away at soft crystals day after day. The look in their eyes, you can just see there was no soul inside. With that concludes my story of what happened to me, where I've been, and how I managed to crawl out of the darkness that was Jay Schlatt's mind. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be going back to making videos soon. I hope you guys are excited for that. I just gotta get things sorted out with my trauma. But nonetheless, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this small explanation of where I've been this past few, probably 4 or 5 months, I think. I don't know. I've lost count. Honestly, they don't even give you a clock in the mines at all. They just tell you it's daytime or nighttime outside. They just tell you just so that they can feel superior knowing that they get to go outside, breathe in this fresh air, while we get to stay down there and breathe in all the dust and salt. Well, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was my expose on the truth of that beast, that monster known as Jay Schlatt. And this is a personal message to you, Schlatt. Just like those victims in 1999, I will come after you. I will have my vengeance. Your crimes will be answered. I will be judge and the executioner. Mark my words. I will see you in hell. See ya!